Okay, we're live. Good boy. Let me find that other one. I'll be right there. I'm just trying to hook up another. Get ready for his IV and all that happy stuff. Oh boy. I'm looking for a extension cord. So that doesn't die out. They're usually coming out my butt, but not today. Okay, I found one. I'll be right there. Right, bud? Oh, come on. You know how stuff never goes right? I just took my head inside the food bowl. That's gonna look beautiful. All right. Alexa, leave me alone.
Okay.
Alexa's so nosy. I don't even have to talk to her and she's here. Constantly. I mean, we just got Alexa. It was given to me as a present. So, you know, I'm happy I have it, but it is quite annoying. Alrighty. hear you. But it says to smile for a thumbnail. Hey, bud. Okay. So first, excuse my, I'm not dressed. And I don't intend to get dressed today. Right, bud? Mommy doesn't intend to get dressed today. So I'm going to slide on in. I'm taking a me day because of I've been running around with him and really not getting a lot of rest. So anyway, why don't you come here? Here, come on, you can do it. Come on. Good enough. All right. Let me get your comfies. Oh. Sit down. You need to be comfortable because you're going to have to sit in that position just for a little bit. There we go. Now I can get to your needle and all that. So if you've been following, buddy, it is my fault. I run a soup kitchen through Let Go and Offer Up, which is like, it's a place you can sell items, but I decided to give food away to the needy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I made this ham and bean soup, and I used, my mom had this machine, so I tried it out. So I put in pureed onion and garlic, which I normally don't do. And usually it's all gone. This one time there was about 4 cups left over, so I put it in the freezer. I did not mark it. And then probably a month later, I was like, I'm hungry. Took it out, and he eats with me often. And so thus I always cook bland. I cook bland for me because of my health. But long story short, he had about 2 cups of the soup. And so you know how your dog every once in a while will puke here and there? So he puked one day, and I just blew it off because sometimes he gets like that. And then the next day, puking. And so then I started thinking, like, yeah, that's 2 days. That's unusual. He only puked like 3 times each day. Nothing major, just yellow, blah. And by day 3, the light came on, and I realized that it was the soup, that he had onion and garlic poisoning. Oh, no worries, mister. So right away I started him at home on like a liver protocol of milk thistle and stuff like that, and took him to the vet. They wanted to admit him, but they wanted $1,798 to admit him. So the first thing I said to them when the vet came in, I was like, I don't have a lot of money. So we got to do this so that I can afford it. And anyway, so they gave me, in the end, they gave me IV fluids and a bunch of medications for him. And I took him home. This was on Sunday. So I think Friday was the 12th. Friday is when he ate it. And then Sunday is when I took him to the vet. And so that was like the 12th. It all started around the 12th, I think. Oh, thank you for the kisses, mister. So still, he will not eat or drink on his own. So he gets an IV twice a day with 200 milliliters of fluid each one. They gave me needles to stick him daily, but I ordered some IV catheters. And so I just put an IV catheter under his skin on his back. right? So you don't have to get stuck every single day. Yeah. And a lot nicer. I need to order some more of them because I just put the last one in last night. But you think that they would give you that. But I guess it means that you got to be careful of infection when you're leaving something in the skin kind of thing. So, I don't know. If I felt like I could give him an actual IV in a vein, I would have, but I was just afraid. I don't want to be testing on my dog. I don't want to be learning how to do an IV. Right, bud? Say, I ain't no guinea pigs, man. I'm not a guinea pig. So, I put the catheter in his back here. Oops, sorry. And all I gotta do is unscrew it, and I'm just gonna clean off the tip because it's in his hair, you know. And then I'm gonna wrap this in the alcohol thing. The vet themselves, they didn't, when they did it, they didn't even put alcohol on his back or anything, which seemed really weird to me when they taught me how to do the fluids there. They didn't even, like, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just different for pets, maybe? I don't know. But, you know, I did. I bought a, let me see if it runs. If it doesn't run, it may take a little bit because, you know, it's in his skin, and it could, I just may have to move it around a little to get it to work. Right? We hope it's still working because we don't want to have to redo it. No needles for you today. Oh, I saw a drip. We got a drip trying, so let's move it around. No worries, bud. I have it taped on there pretty good, so it's hard to move it around because the other one fell out the other day, and I don't want that to happen again. Okay. Sometimes if you do a tent of the skin, oh, I hope we don't have to stick it. Come on, I see that bubble's trying to come down. It's trying. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Ah, poop. I'm not giving up, bud. I'm not giving up. It wants to work, so it's just got to break free of whatever's on the tip. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, bud. Say a little doggy prayer. Come on. I'm sorry, bud. It's not working. Well, this will be the first day that it didn't work. But I'm still not gonna, I'm gonna untape. Oh, I saw it. It's trying to drip. I see it. Come on. It's opened wide, so the pressure should, come on there. You know, right? Mom's not gonna give up. You see this little twitch thing? That's what's worrying me the most. It tells me something's might have happened to his little brainy. Come on. Come on, Ivy, you can do it. Let me untape some more. See if we can. I have it taped so it ain't moving because the one fell out. Trying, bud. Let me see if I got it. Oh, I may have to re-stick you, bud. Come on, tent it out, man. Tent it out. I feel it in there. As a poppers, man, I don't think it's gonna work today. Every once in a while I get one drip. Shizzle me nizzles. Blah, 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 blah. I want to be very careful not to pull too much hair. Oh, Eureka! Oh, I'm so happy. I'm sorry, bud. It's open. Yay! Let me make sure it's going in and not leaking on. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I know you probably think I'm crazy, but I did not want to have to restick him. You can leave it in for 3 days, which means he goes 3 days without getting stuck. It is open and running. Mommy's so happy. I know you probably think I'm crazy, but I am crazy. But this is just a wig netting, because I had a band on him to hold the IV there, and it was really bothering him. He kept biting back at it, so it's still running. I'm so happy. If you only knew why Mommy was so happy and so crazy. If you only knew. Let me get you some comfies right there. You want to lay your head down and relax? So, I have tried, I make him everything he loves. Do you want to try to eat some chickens? Right here, chicken? Oh, no, you're not going anywhere. He has no interest. This dog was an eating machine. He could pack it in, man. And he just doesn't want anything. Here. Let's just try a little teeny tiny piece to see. We'll put in the mouth. Get that flavor in there. Yeah, see? You like chicken. Okay? You like chickens. Here, try this one. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Hey, bud. Bud, you like chicken. Chicken's like one of your favorite. Yes, that's a good boy. This came to this where he knows I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to, if he usually spits it out. Now he kind of gives up and knows that she's not going to stop. I might as well just stuff it in my face and get it over with. So, here, try this one. There's a nice big piece of chicken with your name on it. Boop, boop. Come on. You can do it, mister. Put it in and chew. That is a good boy. I really don't understand it. I mean, I guess maybe he just doesn't feel good. But, I mean, ice cream, everything, nothing. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't even want water. It just makes no sense. Now, he hasn't eaten since it is 11:40 here. So, the last time he ate was at 7 o'clock at night last night. Why so long? I slept. I slept unconsciously. I haven't really slept well in a week or so. And I laid down. I went to the vet last night. And I laid down with him. I only intended on laying down for a short period of time. And I can't answer any questions because, you know, it's over there and I can't see what's going on. But he's been to the vet now 3 times. They do want to admit him, but I can't afford it. This is hamburger meat with sweet potato and butter, which is, he loves sweet potato. Look what I got over here. Sweet potatoes coming in for a landing. I'm coming. And we're still dripping. No, don't spit it out. It's gonna go right back in, mister. I'm coming back in. Yeah, that's a good boy. You know I'm not gonna give up. You gotta eat, right? You gotta stay strong. And if you don't want to stay strong, I gotta make you stay strong. He sees food coming and he walks away like, I'm getting out of here. And comes the baby train. Choo-choo. Come on, choo-choo. See this? He's gonna think I'm gonna think he didn't. I don't have anything in my mouth, Mommy. There's nothing in. Hey. Thinks I'm gonna forget, maybe. I don't know. You should know by now I'm not forgetting. Choo-choo. Good boy. Thank you. So, stay. I just have to keep an eye for the 200 milliliters going in. It's going to have a huge bubble on his side from all the liquids. It's, so the IV is not in a vein. It's under the skin. And, so the liquid will be all under his skin. And then it will absorb into his body. And thus he's getting hydration that way. Because I give him Pedialyte in the mouth with this. This is definitely, I do quite a bit of these at a time, but definitely not enough to keep him hydrated when he's not well. So he definitely needs this. And not only that, I was thinking that the IV fluids, he's like peeing like a racehorse afterwards. I think that that's good because, you know, maybe he's going to pee out whatever toxins are in there, you know, making him not well. So, I loves you. I loves you. You know you got to eat some more, right? I even have oatmeal here. Oh, you got to just be a big boy. As good is sweet potato. How about if we put a little bit of chicken with your sweet potato? So somebody told me I should buy a dog food, a canned dog food that is meant for sick animals or something. I don't know. Emergency something. I looked it up last night, but that is a very expensive dog food. I don't know if it's any better than me just giving him fresh chicken and sweet potatoes, rice, hamburger meat. You know, I don't know if there's a difference. I do have protein water as well that I can give him. Before I started force feeding him food, I was giving him protein water. And if you think force feeding him is terrible, I want him to be strong. I want him to fight this. And if he's not going to eat and he's just going to give up, it's my responsibility. Like, if your kid was not eating, you would make sure they were eating. You would sit there and spoon the food into their mouth because for some reason at that point they don't care enough or want to or feel good enough, whatever. But anyway, I'm so happy that IV. That means I put it in last night, so he's got a couple of days without being stuck. And I only have regular needles now, so I have to order some more IV catheters. It's a big needle, so that's why I decided to get the catheter, because an 18, it has to be an 18 because the fluids will flow better. She said that if I put a small needle in, that he'd be sitting here forever with the needle running. And some more, please. Hey, 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 hey. You know, you're making a mess, mister. It's getting all over, and it's gross. Yeah, could you be less of a messy eater, please? So, oh, I found a chicken bone. We don't want that. No chicken bones for the puppies. I lost my little spoon. I had this little teeny tiny baby spoon from Gerber. I can't find it. I don't know. I don't know if it got accidentally thrown out or what. But that's what I usually feed him his, no, you're not going anywhere. I usually feed him the oatmeal with that tiny spoon, and now I can't find it. You need a drink? I'll get you drinks. Hold on. Stay. Just stay. You're a good boy. Good boy, bud. Chicken is dry. I wanted to try the plain chicken. I thought maybe it might stimulate him to eat it if it wasn't mixed with all this other stuff. That's a good boy. No, that's not enough. Get a little bit in there, please. That's a good boy. It's tasty, right? Is it tasty? It's strawberry. I don't know if it's like what dogs like, but he likes sweet things, so I thought maybe the strawberry would be a good bet for him. So it is running fairly quick, but I don't want it to run so fast that it hurts him, because it's going to be a big 200 milliliters is a pretty big bubble of fluid under his skin. So I see it here on his side right now. It's a big bubbles. So yeah, I don't want it to run so fast that it stretches him out and hurts him or puts pressure on something. So, I don't know. Anyway, he needs to go back to the vet as soon as I can get him in. But I don't know what they're going to do for him. He's not showing signs of pain. He does cry like under his breath. He's kind of like whining, but I think it's because he just doesn't feel good. But he's not crying in pain like when he was fixed. I saw him cry because he was in pain. He's not crying like that. It's just he whines a little. He always was a little bit of a whiny baby, but I think he just doesn't feel good. It's kind of sad, you know. You'll say, "Do you want ice cream?" Normally he would have jumped, you know, like he'll come out and he'll smell it and he'll walk away. Or if you tell him that you want chicken or something, usually he was a fat boy. He's lost 14, actually I guess he's lost 15 pounds now. Yeah. It's hard to tell that he's lost weight because of all his fur, but I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose him. No. We're not going to eat onions in this house ever again. No. This is a no onion household, right? No onions, no garlics here, never again for the puppies. Okay? You love me? Not really? You're pissed off? You want to be left alone? I can't do it. I can't do it. Let's see, you gotta have some more food in the tummies. That wasn't very much. That's not what puppies need for breakfast. We need more food. Bring it on in. Out comes chewing the food up. That's a good boy. Thank you. I try not to overfeed him, but I definitely, gotta. Here's some more chicken. The chicken's coming. Yum yum. Chicken's coming. Good boy. You want to take this one on your own? You could just eat it all by yourself, right? You could have just said, yum yum. I'll take that, Mom. Good boy. I loves you. I know he does it for me. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, I just better do it and get it over with. I don't know. I like to think he's doing it because he loves me. That's my thoughts. I think he's eating and swallowing it just because he knows I'm going to be sad if he doesn't. Let's leave it at that. Let's pretend he cares. Let's just pretend he cares. That's all that matters. I'm okay with pretending. Look at, here comes the chicken. He thought I was telling him to look at the TV because he has a severe TV addiction. His favorite show, Bizarre Bark. If you say, Bizarre Bark, he's ready. He comes running. He loves the intro song of Bizarre Bark. It's on Disney. The only reason I can think is there's a goat that walks by. But he doesn't bark at the goat. I don't know. I don't know why he likes Bizarre Bark. He must like the song. Do not try to leave me. I'm trying to find a piece of chicken that's not going to fall apart and get all over everything. Since I didn't put a bib on you. Excuse me. Can I see your fries, please? I would like to put this chicken in your pie hole. It's making a mess on the puppies here. What's happening? You're going to have to get your hair combed out and get all this food out of your chest. Normally I put a bib on him. And I feed him totally differently. I feed him at a different angle where I can see what's going in and what's not going in. But, I set up a camera so you can... So, right now, we're only at 100 well, I think we're at 1.5, so we're almost done with the IV. And it is big over here. I'll show you when we're all done. Let's just do one more of the chicken, okay? One more chicken, and that's it, okay? Thank you. Thanks, Bubs. Thanks, Bubs. I'm going to get you ready to take your IV out. So, stay. Do not try to go. Everything is all backwards because I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Man, what did I do? Did I lose that little one? Oh well, we'll use a tissue. Okay. So yeah, I was a little shocked that the vet did not do any kind of, maybe it's not that necessary for dogs, who knows. But, yeah, they didn't do any wiping alcohol and blah, blah, blah. Unless she was in a hurry. I don't know. She did do it real quick. So we're going to cut that off. We're at 200 millimeters. Good boy. What do you got hanging from your face there? More food? Your food mess? Or do you have a food coma? Huh? Are you in a food coma? So I shut it off, right? Shut off the IV. No more drips. I really did rig it to do this because I don't have the stuff that you're supposed to have. So much hair, bud. I'm going to clean off the tips with alcohol again. And I'm going to plug up this IV port. So now you're all good to go again. I'm going to, how does that keep sliding off? Clamp that so nothing tries to back out. Then I'm so weird about I want it to be sterile. I'm going to put the alcohol pad over everything. And then I'm just using this wiglet thingy. Oh. So now this here is all the fluids are right there. And then they'll slowly absorb into his skin. And but you see how big it is there? It's like he's got a baby. I got a food babies. I got my food babies right here. Here's a food baby, right? You got a food baby? You got a food baby? Huh? You got a food baby? No? No food babies? Food babies are good right now. You can have food babies. I got a food babies. You're a good boy. You put up with a lot. Let's make sure we don't got food anywhere on our blankets, so we're going to get it in our bed. I see a little piece of chicken here. Just relax for a minute and I will let you go back over there after I make sure that we're not going to get food in the bed. That one's safe. Yeah, usually I set up differently, you know, so that... And I just knocked the IV over. So I'm going to clean this when I'm done here. But right now I'm just going to cap it off and tape it. Stay. You're not going away. I know how you are. You're going to try to disappear into wherever. It's all done. If you want to lay up there, you can go up there. Here you go. I saw you. You got a piece of chicken on your butt, mister. How did you get chicken on your butt? Yeah, I will clean this before we use it again, since the cap that came with this, once you took it off, it won't go back on. So, and you're just supposed to just let it hang there, but it seems like bacteria will get in. I don't know. I don't know. When she took it off, she just let it dangle, and so I think it looks like a way for bacteria to keep going in. You okay? You're cold. That's what's wrong, mister. You're cold. You're shivering? You know what? You're going to have to come back over and get warm. Come here. Come on, you're shivering. You know why you're shivering? Because the IV fluid is cold. All right, lay down. Let me get you covered up. Here comes the covers, the puppies. Yeah, the IV fluid is very cold. So he shivers. But I wish I knew why his ears are constantly twitching. Oh, my puppy's is shivering. He'll be warm in a minute. So I see this twitching. His ears are fine. They checked his ears. You know, they looked in to see if he had some kind of infection because of the twitching. But no infection. I looked in there again myself last night. They don't smell. They're nice and clean and pink. So I don't know what that twitching is. And they don't seem to know what it is. I don't know what they want to do. A CAT scan or something. I really don't know. I'm sure that would be an arm and a leg. And it's not going to happen. So all I'm trying to do is just support him with IVs and food. Support him through his, hopefully, recovery. So one of the, I went to I did an online vet when it first happened, and he or she told me that he needed a blood transfusion, that the onion and the garlic destroys the liver and the kidneys, and that he needed a blood transfusion. So right away I started giving him milk thistle, which is good for your liver. It's good for everybody's liver. If I didn't have liver issues, I would take it just because it's so good for you. So I started giving him milk thistle to help support his liver, and hopefully, you know, I'm just doing the best I can. But he will need to go back in. He's going to have to go back in, and so they can figure out why he's, what's wrong, what's the twitching. Maybe not, who knows, maybe it'll go away. I don't know. If anybody's ever dealt with this, just leave a comment below. Don't leave stupid comments, you know, like put them to sleep, because that's just that's just stupid. I've had a few people who told me that I should just give him up. You know, why don't I sign him over to the vet so he can get treated properly? And that's not an easy thing to do. And not only that, I know he's adorable, but he's not friendly. So let's say that I could give him up and, you know, just sign him off. When they did his friendliness testing to see if he's safe, they would find that he's not safe. He's not safe around children. He's not safe around adults. He is safe around the human being that he is attached to and their family, and that's it. I have a 31-year-old son. We've had Buddy for 3 years. Might have been 4 this Christmas. Anyway, let's say 3 years. My son comes over all the time. He has bitten that son several times. He just doesn't seem to get to know people even though they're here. They come over a lot, kind of thing. It doesn't matter. He doesn't remember. I have 2 friends that come over that he seems to be warming up to. But besides them, he's really not warming up to many people. You know, and he doesn't even see, her name is Christine, and Billy. He doesn't see them. Like, he sees them once a month, sometimes twice a month. He's warming up to them, but then there's other people that he sees a couple times, you know, like once a week, and he still barks at them and tries to bite them. Maybe it's just them, you know. Who knows? But either way, if I gave him up out of love, No, I can't do that. But let's say I did. They would probably end up putting him to sleep because he's an aggressor, you know. And the worst thing about him is that he looks so adorable that it's shocking. It's like totally shocking. It's like seeing Cinderella or Rapunzel as a mass murderer. It just doesn't go together, you know. He just looks so... One day I was in my car with him. My son was inside physical therapy. So I was just reading or something. I saw him go into the sitting pretty. We call it sitting pretty. He was standing up. He was doing this. And I heard the woman like, oh my God, he's so adorable. Thus, she started to walk over to the car because he was in the, I'm so cute. You know, I was watching him. He was just like, standing there with his paws up and looking at her. And then she got close, and then Cujo came out, and she was just in shock. She was like, oh my God. She said, I never expected that. She said, I would never have expected that. She said, he was so adorable. He was like so sitting up, begging at me. She said, I thought he was like begging me to come over. And then he turned into Cujo. We call him Cujo occasionally. But yeah, so he's so unassuming because he just looks so adorable. And then he turns into that. But he's definitely better than he was because when we first got him, I couldn't trust him around anybody. So at least now I can trust him more. You know, I don't have to, usually if somebody came over, I'd have to carry him around with me. I would never put him on the floor. After this many years, I can actually put him down, but I keep an eye. He likes to sneak up behind people. So I always make sure I'm watching exactly what's going on and keep an eye on him. I never trust him around children. Never, never, never. Except when he's in my arms, or we're not at home, he's very nice. So when, let's say I'm in the grocery store, or, you know, not the grocery store, but like Sam's Club. No, I can't take him in there either. What do you call it? Like Lowe's or something. Lowe's and Home Depot, stores like that, you can bring your dog in with you. So when he's in the cart, he's extremely nice. And I don't worry about him biting anybody. People come up and they pet him. He's very well behaved when he's in the cart. It's more that when he's home, in the car, that kind of thing, that's when I worry about him. Or outside. I would never trust him off the leash in my yard if a stranger walked up. Because he's bolted after my older son. Ken was walking in the yard. We were actually doing a video for a vibration collar with a remote. He was bolting to go bite my son, and I just vibrated the collar, and he stopped. That worked nicely. That's actually how we were training him not to bite, with the vibration. It has a shock option, but you know, he's little. He didn't need the vibration was enough to make him stop. So, anyway, yeah, long story short, that's why even if I had to out of love, like if he was really knocking on death's door, I wouldn't, if I gave him up, I wouldn't be able to get him back because I wouldn't be able to afford it. And then they wouldn't be able to place him because he's a danger, which is why I kept him. I didn't know he was a danger when I got him. I was really sick. Yeah, doctor sent me home kind of to die kind of thing years ago. And I was depressed. And the rules were here, no pets allowed. And I asked, I'm like, I'm having some serious depression. And, it would really help. I'm in bed a lot because of MS and fibromyalgia. Anyway, they said I could have a small dog that doesn't shed. So I was so excited. I posted to Facebook, I can get a little dog. You know, they said I can have a small dog that doesn't shed. And so somebody contacted me through Facebook and said, I know these two sisters, they have Alzheimer's, and they have a bunch of dogs. The healthier sister has been getting rid of the sister that has Alzheimer's really bad. She's been getting rid of her dogs and just has the one little boy left. So here I think there's like 6 dogs in the house, old ladies. I never even thought to ask, does he bite? Does, you know, I never asked any of that. It was kind of a weird thing. She wouldn't meet me. She met my cousin. She knew my cousin from work or something. So, she met my cousin at Petco and did the handoff. Now, I know he wasn't stolen or anything because my cousin did know them. And so I know he wasn't like a stolen pet. He was just, it ended up he was very neglected, unfortunately. He was one boy in a house, an unfixed boy in a house of all these girl dogs. All the girl dogs were the healthier sisters. And thus, she told me that he was always bothering her girls, so that she had to keep him separate. So when we got him, his legs were all weird, and the vet said because they probably kept him in a cage. That's like wire cage syndrome. His feet don't do that anymore. But also when we got him, I took him to the vet, you know, because he was sick, and they thought he was 5 or 6 because of the bad shape his teeth were in. 6, anywhere from 5 to 8 years old, they thought. And so then I had his teeth cleaned, and I thought they were going to have to pull some because they looked so bad, but they were just so crusted with plaque. And anyway, when they cleaned his teeth, they told me that he was probably under a year old, maybe a year. And he was so thin, and he has doubled in length, and of course he doubled in width, at least doubled, if not tripled. I don't know. I think he was 6 pounds when he got here. And before he got sick, I think he was 24. I wouldn't say he was fat, but he was chubby. Like, we used to just joke around, my son and I, that when he sat down, he just looked like a fat cat. You know, sometimes he would sit down at his bowl to eat. Instead of standing to eat, he was just sitting there. He just looked so chubby, sitting like a little man eating. Anyway, of course, he could have used a little bit of weight loss, but not that much. So, I think now he is 7.5 pounds, I think they said. So he went down quite a bit. But I don't understand why he's losing weight. You saw what I fed him. That was very little compared to what I normally feed him. It's easier to feed him when I'm doing it just set up different, and I spoon it in. I probably feed him about 1/2 cup of a mixture of sweet potato, either chicken and beef, that kind of thing. But too hard to give him little pieces of chicken while I'm doing all this and trying to make sure you can see him and all that happy stuff. So I usually feed him, I would say, probably about 1/2 cup of food 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day. It just depends what's going on here. So I didn't understand, how could he be losing weight with me stuffing in that food? So hopefully the next time we go in, his weight had either stabilized or gone up, because that worries me, that I'm putting in a decent amount of food, and in a little way it seems like it's more food than he normally ate. Of course, he didn't always eat people food. He has blue buffalo, the vet said it's a little too rich for him right now to not try to make him eat the blue buffalo or the hard food. Last night I was giving him, it's like little tiny circles or something, or balls. I gave him a couple last night. I'm just trying to make him remember, like, hey, I used to love this stuff, So I kept putting a piece of dog food in here and there. I think he ate 4 pieces of dog food, but I'm just, in my brain, I feel like he's forgotten, if that makes any sense. Like, he's forgotten that he loves food. He's forgotten, like, hey, I used to do this by myself. It's probably just so he doesn't feel hungry because he feels like crap, but I just want to stimulate that part of his brain, like, hey, you know what? He has this little dog dish. It looks like a puppy. It has 3 wells. Each well has a lid, the tail. It has a rope on it. The dog grabs the rope and takes the lid out. He loves that dish. If you're sitting here and he goes over there to eat, no lie, he flings the lid up about 6 to 8 feet. I'll be sitting here and all of a sudden I'll see the lid go up in the air and I crack up because he's so tiny, and next thing you know, the lid is like, whee! So he's just extremely funny, the stuff that he does. I miss that so much. I hope that he comes back. So it all started on the 12th, and today's what, like the 26th or the 27th? So it's just way too long. But, one time it took me a year to get better, back to myself. So, I'm sure, I hope it's not going to take him a long time to get back to himself, but I know it could take him time to get back to himself. And I guess as long as I keep pushing food, I can keep him supported and alive by feeding him, I guess. And the IVs, I guess, I don't know how long that can go on. I really don't know. I hope it doesn't come down to any of that. I've heard about this other vet that one of my friends is talking about. Actually, 2. There's one in New Jersey. I live in Pennsylvania. They keep telling me that there's this vet in New Jersey that is really, really reasonable, and sometimes, charges very little for the stuff that's needed. So I have nothing right now. I just spent, since all this started, I spent $800. We're at $800. Since last night, I'm at $800. And that's not including the IV stuff that I've ordered online and the other, medications that have come in online. This is just at the vet. So I'm done. I don't have anything. I don't. People are like, well, do the care card. I have Synchrony Bank is care card, and Amazon is Synchrony. So I have 3 Synchrony. So they have denied because I already have too many debt to income kind of thing. So that's a no-go because I already have 3 Synchronies. But anyway, so if anybody's ever been through this and they've seen like the head twitching, leave a comment below. I live in Pennsylvania. If there's a vet out there that ever does any pro bono diagnostics kind of thing to find out what's going on with him. They did blood work, but they said his blood work was fine. So they said the blood work showed an infection. So he's been taking antibiotics. He had 104 temperature, but he's not running temperatures anymore. So I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm winging it. He had an x-ray a couple of days ago. This is, they just double checked to make sure they didn't miss anything, that there's no blockage or there's no mass somewhere that they're missing. He's pooping and peeing just fine. You know, he poops a couple of times a day because I'm packing the food in, and the IV really makes him have to pee. He pees a lot after the IV. I mean, after the IV, the first thing, he needs to get warm because the IV fluid is cold. I don't want to warm the IV fluid because I don't want his body temperature to go up and cause any more, let's say if that's damage from a fever. I don't want to take a chance of warming that up. And if I warmed it up, I would just have to put it under my shirt kind of thing to warm it up. That would be the only way that I would know safely how to warm it up. But I'm afraid to warm it up because I don't know if it's good to do. So, I don't know. I got him a new toy. He didn't want it. His favorite bones, he didn't want it. But I keep offering everything. Everything he loves. The other day he picked up his baby. I was so thrilled, but he hasn't picked it up since. So, I think that was 3 days ago he actually grabbed his little lamb chop, which he usually went nowhere without. And he actually picked it up because at night I leave here and I go and I sleep at somebody else's house because she's older and her husband's in the hospital and I didn't want her to be alone. So he grabbed a baby lamb chop and wanted to take it with him because I take him with me wherever I go. I went shopping, he comes with me. I can't trust him. I don't want him pulling out his IV. So I just take him with me because if you don't keep an eye on him, he starts biting at the plastic that's there and rolling on his back. I just don't want him to dislodge that because I don't want to have to stick him again, you know. I want to get those 3 days in there so that he has 3 days. Because let me tell you, the needle is huge and he sees it coming and I see the look in his eye like, oh, this is going to hurt. He has not once yelped or anything. I can just see the sadness of like, oh, he's so tolerant. It's amazing because it's definitely a big needle. And then if it's not the catheter kind, the needle stays in there the whole time he's getting the infusion. And that's got to hurt. Any movement, you know, it's going to pinch. I don't know. I like the catheter idea much better. The only thing that's not good about the catheter is that it's a way for bacteria to enter. That's the bad thing, and that's why I got to try to keep it as sterile as I possibly can. I put a Tegaderm over the last one, but then taking it off was brutal. I can't do that to him again. It was so stuck. I mean, I shaved him, but the Tegaderm was so stuck on his fine hairs. It was just, I can't do that. I cannot. When it comes time to take all this tape off that's on his back now, I'm going to have to be, I'll probably use alcohol to soften the glue because it's so stuck to his hair. I mean, it is really stuck. When I say hair, you know, I shaved him, but there's a fine layer. Like, I didn't shave him naked. Why? Because you shouldn't. When you shave somebody that's a way for bacteria again. So I shaved it as close as possible, but I didn't shave it naked because of that right there. I learned years ago that when they took some cancer off my son's face and his head, they didn't shave, and the reason was just that shaving it could cause an infection. So I learned from that. I just shaved down the big long hairs. It's got a nice flat surface, but it's hair. And boy, when I took it off the other day, it was so stuck. I was in shock of how it was like the adhesive melted into his skin and hair. It was terrible. So with this one, I'll be able to take the IV out and then I'll work on the tape. And usually what I do is I let it rest. I won't put another one in until like the evening. I'll give him like 12 hours of rest from having anything on him so he can just roll around. When there's nothing there, he just rolls around on the floor like he's in heaven. So definitely, I'm so fortunate that I used to be a private nurse's aide, that I'm able to do the stuff I'm able to do, because it's not easy at all. But when I was a teenager, I was in high school and I was walking home and I saw a sign that somebody needed a babysitter for their handicapped child. So I was like, I could do that. I babysit kids. So I started learning. They taught me, the parents taught me how to take care of their child. I think I didn't have a license, so I must have been 16. I don't think I got my license until I was 17 or 18. I was afraid. I was a chicken. So, yeah, the parents taught me how to take care of their child, which was nice. And then I also saw another one where it was just an older woman. I just would go until the kids came home, until their kid came home from work. So I started way back then, and then I went to classes when I got older, and I worked in a nursing home, and then I worked mostly privately through like a medical referral company. Anyway, that means I got some training, and it comes in handy. And then I took care of my husband. My first husband died in 93, and I took care of him for 8 years, and he was very sick. Very, very, very sick. He had HIV and AIDS back when HIV and AIDS wasn't cool. Not that it's cool now, but back then, those words were terrifying. People heard that and they ran. If people saw us coming back then, they would change direction because they were terrified. I do not have HIV or AIDS. I got very lucky. I did not contract that from him. And our older son also, very lucky, because he could have been born, because we didn't know that he had it back then. Anyway, my son and I both very, very lucky. Now, the son you see all the time is Cordell. That's not his father. That one died in 93. Anyway, all that training is helping me through my life, because my parents are in their 80s and I help them. And like I spend the night at somebody's house that they have a palsy, I think. Anyway, it's good training to have, help people. It seems like everybody will have somebody in their life that will need some total care sooner or later, because there's so much cancer. I mean, I would imagine that every household has been touched by cancer already. Somehow, somebody in your household or your family line has had cancer. It's just, cancer used to be so, rare, and now it's not. It's everywhere. Even little babies are born with it. It's everywhere. So it's good to have training. But Anyway, I just thought I would do a live video about Bud. I'm trying to get his GoFundMe out there because I could really use the help. And I don't want to give up, and I don't want to lose him. And I'm doing everything I can to support him while he recovers from whatever's going on. As far as I know, this started from the soup. It's a guess. It could have nothing to do with the onion soup, the soup that he ate, but I have a feeling. The vet didn't seem very interested in the fact that he ate all those onions and garlic. But who knows? The online vet was like, holy crap, I can't believe he's still alive. And this vet, I really didn't like him at all. He came into the room first. And, well, first I told the nurse what was going on. Then he came in. I talked to him. He ran some blood work, x-rays. He came back in, and it was like he hadn't listened to a word I said. He was like, oh, I think it's just the flu. It's probably just the flu. We'll just send him home, and he'll be fine. You know, a flu, he's got to work his way through. It'll work his way out. And I was like, did you listen to what I said before? That he hasn't eaten or drank in over, back then it was 8 days. Because I didn't have any money to take him to the vet in the beginning. I had money saved aside for dentures, but it was not where I could just get to it. I had to transfer it, and it took time to get to me. So I took care of him at home for 8 days before I was able to take him to the vet. But anyway, when he came in, it was like, oh, it's probably just the flu, you know, or cold. And I was like, well, I told you that he hasn't eaten on his own since the 12th, and that he ate all that soup with a massive amount of onions and garlic in it. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was like, but I just told you that. So, but I also told him, just, you know, remember, I don't have a lot of money, so let's, I want to take care of him at home. I told him right then, I'm not going to be able to afford to admit him. So he left me again, and so I think this was number 3 that he came back. And he was like, we're going to admit him. And I was like, wait a minute. The last thing I said was, remember, I can't afford to admit him. And so he came back in, and he's like, of course he had a bill in his hand for $1,798. He said, we're going to admit him. And this is what to start with will be $1,798. And I thought he said that was overnight. And I was like, I said, I just told you that I can't afford that. I'm like, I make Social Security $730 a month. There's no me coming up with almost $2,000, you know, overnight. It's just not happening. So then he left me again after I complained. $895 of that, I didn't see the bill because he took it with him. There was 2 lines. I thought the $895 was going to go towards some kind of testing. But he took it with him, so I didn't get to see. There was 2 lines, $895 and then this $1,798. So I don't know what the plan was for the overnight, what they were going to do. But when we were there yesterday, there was a man. He was so pissed off. He was complaining about how much money they charged him, and that they charged him all this money for a bandage that lasted 20 minutes, and that now he's back again for the same thing, and he's going to get charged. It was a splint, whatever, I think the dog's leg was sprained or broken, and I guess it fell apart instantly, and then so he was upset. You're going to charge me again, and what's to say it's not going to fall apart again? So he was on the phone talking about how much money they charged him, how much money they charged him for this, how much for that, and he wasn't happy. This is a vet that's open 24/7 here locally, and so when I took Bud on a Sunday because he had gone downhill on that Sunday, so I didn't have a choice but to take him there. Now, if I took him anywhere else, I'd be starting over, and they would want to redo the blood work and everything. So there is a place in New Jersey. I would like to take him there. And then somebody said that there's one called the Homestead here, not that far away, that is also supposed to be a more lenient, less charge. They don't charge as much, but I've already spent everything, so I'd be going in broke, like, hey, I don't have any money, but can you help me? So I have the GoFundMe up, and I know that I post a lot of videos for my GoFundMe for him, but I'm just, I don't want to lose him. I want to keep him comfortable. I want to know what's going on. So I try and I try. I don't want to lose him. If you only knew, like, he was a rescue, but he really rescued me because I was so depressed. So it was December, and the doctors, I love my doctors, but their plan, I don't want to go into everything that's wrong with me, but their plan is to wait till I go critical and then go in. And so that really messes with your brain. You know that you got to go critical for them to go in and fix something. So I have a surgery that is failing inside. I have a lot of birth defects inside. They rebuilt me. One of them's failing. And they do not want to go in until I go critical because, and I understand, if they go in and they try to fix it and it disintegrates, then I'm screwed and they've killed me, so to speak. But if I'm critical and I'm not going to make it and they go in and anything goes wrong, then they tried their best. Blah, blah, blah. So, that gets on my brain sometimes, It really does. I have trouble with sepsis. Since I had my teeth pulled, I have not gone... I've had sepsis, but not to the point where it used to be. So having them pulled actually did help me a lot. But anyway, so it gets on your brain knowing if you knew what was going on inside of me, it messes with your head. I know there's some leaking going on in there of my intestines, and thus that grosses me out. I know it's happening. It messes with my brain. I get depressed. Thus, he saved me because I wasn't even getting out of bed. I went like sometimes a week with no shower, nothing. I just didn't care because, I think I was waiting to die. I don't want to die, but it was just like if you're sitting there and you know that you have something that's leaking and it's killing you softly while you're just sitting there, it just starts to load up on your head. You can't stop thinking about it. And then, I'm supposed to check my temperature all the time to make sure it doesn't go up. As soon as my temperature goes up, I'm supposed to get on my antibiotic protocol. I know that I've taken these protocols so many times, sooner or later they're not going to work anymore, and then I'm going to be screwed. All that depression, man, I was so depressed. And so Buddy came, and he was a lot of work, and that was good. He needed a lot of care when he came, and that got me out of bed. I had to get up. I had to take him out to the bathroom. He needed a lot of training. He was not house trained. He would, no lie, he never wet my bed or anything, but you could just be standing there and he could be on the floor by your feet. You could be petting him and he would pee or poop right at your feet. Like, he had no guilt. He had no training whatsoever. I remember this one time that it was pretty much, we were just like petting him and playing, and he just stopped and looked up at me and like peed this huge puddle. And he was looking at me eye to eye the whole time he was peeing. Like, he had no knowledge of that was wrong. Like, they really didn't do him any justice. So he needed a lot of one-on-one, and that was good for me. It made me have to get up, do things, work with him. He was house trained within, I would say, 3 months. He was totally house trained. And he does have poop accidents. It's usually our fault because we're in a hurry. We got to go to school or the doctors. We don't give him the time he needs to be roaming around because he takes some time outside. He's got to smell every blade of grass to figure out which one needs to be pooped and peed on. So occasionally we're like, hurry, hurry, hurry. And he'll have a poop accident in the house. But he has not had a pee accident in the house since like the 3rd month he was here. It's done really well. But he's just very easily trained, and he really wants to make me happy. Like, he would love it. Like, how when I was feeding him, I was like, oh, I'm so happy. Normally, he would have freaked out. He would be like wiggling, happy. Like, he loves it when I praise him for being a good boy. He would get so excited. He loves that. He just wants to make you happy, kind of thing. So, yeah, he was very easy to train. So, but all that work that needed to be done, that was perfect for me because it pulled me out of a really dark place, and it helped me also decide to take the teeth out because they were causing part of the problem. They looked fine, but they were bad inside. And a lot of that had to do with surgeries. I have had a lot of surgeries, 28, 38, I don't even know, I don't even count them anymore. But the anesthesia is very, very rough on your teeth. And also, the breathing tube, very, very hard on your teeth. Why? Because your mouth is dry in there. You have, you're intubated, it's dry, and dryness and your teeth don't go together well. So anyway, all those surgeries, they did some damage. And so having him made me realize I need to take some steps to help me live longer, have a better life. And anyway, I really feel like he saved me because if I decided not to take the antibiotic when I get a fever, it would be the end. I would be done. And I was at that point where I thought, I'm not taking it anymore. I'm done. because it was like every 3 months that I was knocking on death's door all the time. And I was so over it. I was so tired. The medicine is so gross and it makes you feel so terrible. It's so strong. It just makes your whole body sick from the antibiotic. So before him, I had pretty much decided I was done. I wasn't going to take the medicine anymore. I was just going to let nature take its course and just go. So he really, really pulled me out of that. I mean, I had made plans for my son. I made arrangements for him. A family was going to adopt him or take him in. I don't know if they would have adopted him, but they would have become his legal guardians. You know, I had it all set up. I was done. I was just so done. Always dying and always waiting and wondering if this was going to be it. And sepsis is pretty painful, you know. For some reason, my eyes hurt so bad when I go septic. The pain in my eyes is awful. So I say that Buddy saved me because he made me care again because he needed me. You know, my son really didn't need me. He was a teenager. You know, he'd be fine. Probably better without me, I thought, because he was always seeing me so sick. So Bud needed me. He needed somebody all the time because when he came here, he wasn't well, you know. He was malnourished. I'll tell you that on the way home, my dad drove his truck and Buddy sat on my lap. Buddy threw up about 3 to 4 cups of dry dog food. But what does that mean? It means he hadn't been fed in a long time. They didn't want him to come here and act like he was starving, so they gave him a boatload of food to eat, and of course, he ate it all. So on the way home, 3 to 4 cups of dry dog food, and I mean, it was dry. It looked like it could have been put in a bowl and served later. He ate so much that he couldn't even process it. It came out just like it came out of a bag. You know, not all of it, you know what I mean? Some of it was mushy, but some of it was like fresh, like he just ate it. And the vet told me that they must have just given him a big bowl, thinking he would eat, and then he wouldn't come here acting like he was starving. So anyway, he came here, he wasn't well. He was thin, he was mentally not well, he was scared. He would go to the furthest corner of my bed. He didn't even want to be by us. So I took over and I picked him up. I carried him everywhere with me because he didn't want to be with me. He didn't want to be with anybody. He wanted to be away from everyone as far as possible. If anybody was in this room, he would find the place that was the furthest away from everyone and go over there. So then I decided, I'm picking him up. I'm going to carry him around with me. This way, he doesn't have a choice but to be with us. Right, mister? You plopped your head down. You nice and warm now? Yeah, the sisters who had him, somebody said you should have turned them in. You know what? They got Alzheimer's. They're not well, so I don't think that the girl dogs that are in the house are under the same condition. I got the feeling that Buddy, because he was a boy, the only boy, and she had said that he bothered her girls, that told me that he was like the black sheep. They didn't want him humping on their little girls, you know. But he wasn't fixed, so of course he was going to be humping on their little girls. So anyway, I didn't report them because they were sick. All that happy stuff. So anyway, I'm going to cut it off because I got stuff I got to do, but I just wanted you to see how Bud's doing. I think he's doing okay, but I wish he was doing better. He seems like he's warm now. He's not shivering anymore. Right? So it means I can get up and his little bubble. He's got like a pouch of liquid on his side here. My son thinks it's hilariously crazy that he has a big bubble on his side. I'm gonna get you over there so I can get up. You gonna say goodbye? Goodbye, thanks for watching. This little wig cap worked out fine. It had no, it's like open-ended and it's just fine. I'm thinking maybe I should take this band off because it might be a little tight up here. I don't know. Are you a good boy? Yeah? I think you are too. So it's so weird. You see, his hair even looks sick. See how weird it, not weird. It looks so dry. Let me make sure my boob's not hanging out. It looks so dry, so different than usual. His hair is usually curly, and it's like his hair, it's lost its curls. Ah, your nose is running. What happened? You just snotted. Oh, you're snotty? Good snotties. It's okay. We all snot every once in a while, too. I don't know. Was that a snot or a tear? I don't know. I don't know. He dripped. I don't know what dripped, but he dripped. He's like, would you leave me alone? Stop picking me apart. Oh, Obzio, I can't help but to pick you apart. You know that? Do you need more kisses? How many kisses do you want? 10. Okay, there's 10. You're a good boy. Thanks for the kisses, Mom. I love you too. You're my sweetie mommies. You a good boy? Are you watching TV? Definitely has an addiction. What are you watching? Disney? I swear he's so addicted. I love you anyway, even though you have an addiction. Okay.